During construction of a highway, the New Jersey Department of Transportation unearthed evidence of an ancient Indian settlement. Native Americans warned that anyone involved in paving over this sacred site would be cursed, a warning that turned out to be more than just an idle threat. Many cultures still maintain a powerful belief that certain places on Earth are sacred and should not, must not, be tampered with. Burial sites are among the most sacred of all places, and there is almost a universal belief that the dead must be left to rest in peace. If they're not, a curse may follow those who dare violate the sacred ground. Some Native American tribes follow these traditions to this day. They warn of grave consequences for those who disturb their honored dead. Members of the Delaware Indian Nation believe this stretch of Highway 55 near Deptford Township in New Jersey was built over an ancient Indian burial ground, prompting what has become known as the curse of Highway 55.
To us, our ancestors are sacred, and anything that is connected with our ancestors, the whole area to us is sacred. And we do not defile it in any way, and we don't want anyone else to defile it. Well, they just laughed at me. So I raised my hands to the heavens, and I prayed to the Great Spirit, and I prayed to my ancestors. Then all these things happened. I mean, then the winds came up and blew vehicles off the road with people, with their workers in them. And I think that at that particular day, there were 15 who died as a result of it. It was not that I wanted the people to die. It was that I wanted the site to be left alone.
In the months following the chief's curse, a 34-year-old crewman was run over and killed by an asphalt roller truck. A Department of Transportation inspector died on the job site of a brain aneurysm. A sudden gust of wind blew yet another worker off a bridge, leaving him paralyzed. Within 3 weeks, many more construction workers and their families seemed to fall victim to the curse. The sheer number of tragedies seemed to be more than coincidence. Workers and their families are still frightened to speak out publicly. The New Jersey Department of Transportation, however, denies that there was anything unusual about the deaths and injuries that have occurred. Highway 55 was already well under construction when Gloucester County historian Robert Harper first heard rumors about what was happening at the site.
And it seems that several of the bulldozer operators were in a Deptford tavern, and they were elusive mouthed. They were boasting about how they had disturbed these Indian graves.
Denied access by the New Jersey Department of Transportation, Dr. Harper became obsessed with Highway 55. Unable to stop construction through government channels, Dr. Harper and the Historical Society brought their findings to Chief Wyandotte, the spiritual leader of the Eastern Delaware Nation and a direct descendant of the ancient people who lived on the site in question.
They came to me as the shaman and asked me what I could do about it. So I went to them and I talked to them, and the state archaeologist said, oh, there's nothing here except some pieces of pottery and items of that nature.
The Department of Transportation admits they were surprised to find what they believe is an Indian campsite. They pulled thousands of artifacts out of the site, but deny finding evidence of human remains.
Most of the time we know what's out there. But in case once in a while there is something that we do miss, we do have a procedure, and it works. Construction was temporarily halted, and that site was also investigated. This is one of the earliest artifacts we found. It's either a knife blade or a spear point. This dates from roughly about 6,000 BC. The few bone pieces we did find, and I'll be glad to show them to you, are not human. They happen to be deer. So there was absolutely no evidence of cemeteries or any other type of burial.
Chief Wyandotte doesn't agree. He believes the site is sacred, and anyone who disturbs it is cursed.
I said, if there was a village, then within 100 yards in one direction or the other, there would have to be a burial site, Because after all, they didn't have horses, they didn't have any other means of transportation, so they had to carry the body and bury it.
The soils are fairly acidic, and organic remains do not last very long, 200-300 years tops, before they completely disintegrate into the soil.
So I said, well, even if there's no bones left, there still was a burial site. So how do you know? I said, how do I know? I said, these are my ancestors. That's how I know.
The bones are no longer there. The descendants are no longer there. We do not know if somebody was buried there or not.
And I said, how would you like it if I sent some of my warriors with bulldozers and bulldozed your grandparents up? What's done has been done. And what's been done can't be undone.
Highway 55 has been completed. Whether or not it was built on sacred Delaware Indian burial ground may never be known, but there are still disturbing questions. Is there a connection between Wyandaga's curse and the documented tragedies that occurred along Highway 55? And will the curse continue to claim victims here?
As far as I was concerned, it wasn't a curse. It was a prayer. I prayed to the Great Spirit, and he answered me.